transformation within each of us. The fifth principle is that nonviolence chooses love instead of hate. As with anything of importance that we do in life, it all comes down to the choices that we decide to make. The sixth and final principle of nonviolence is that the conviction that God and the universe is on the side of justice. Nonviolence holds a deep faith in the future with no room for cynicism or despair. Now, when we understand these six principles of nonviolence, we can then address the process which is outlined in the 6 steps of nonviolence. Now, most conflict can be resolved with these 6 steps. Certainly, the first 4 of them, many times you can resolve a conflict. The first step is information gathering. Before you can ever resolve any conflict, you've got to get all of the information that is relevant to that conflict. Information gathering, just like research. You can research papers. I mean, you've got to make your case, but you can't make anything until you do all the research and gather all the information. You must gather all of the relevant facts and even those that don't fit your point of view. Now, after completing that process of information gathering, the second step is education. So you must educate those who are working with you and those who may be your adversaries. Notice I say adversaries as opposed to enemies, because different word, some may use it the same way, but I think it's less hostile. So that's my enemy. No, that's an adversary. That's someone who I don't agree with today, but maybe we'll find some middle ground and begin to agree. So you must educate. The third step is you must have a personal commitment to resolving the crisis. Make a personal commitment. And then the fourth step is negotiations. You sit down and hammer out a contract, if you will. Now, as I said, most conflicts can be resolved with education, with information gathering, education, personal commitment, and negotiations. But if you don't succeed after negotiations, there is a fifth step. And that fifth step is called confrontation. During my father's era, some of the tactics that they used, today we use different tactics, were picketing, marching, rallies, petition campaigns, civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is still one that we can use. Using the internet to inundate people's offices with information. I mean, we can do all. But confrontation does not ever hurt anyone. It's how you choose to confront them. All of those actions must be conducted in a spirit of brotherly and sisterly love toward the opposition. The crucial principle should govern all dealings with our adversaries. My father used to say that we never get rid of an enemy by meeting hate with hate. We get rid of an enemy by getting rid of enmity. Love transforms with redemptive power. Now, the sixth and final step is reconciliation. We've got to bring communities back together after they have separated. We've got to reconciliate. And the reason love is so important, and the kind of love I'm talking about, is a love that we, don't practice enough. There are many levels of love. In fact, my dad had a sermon called Levels of Love. And he talked about the kind of the lowest level of love. And he said that love was defined by the word utilitarian love. You love someone as long as you can use them, and when your use runs out, you love them no more. That's not good. And that doesn't work to resolve most or any conflicts. And then he talked about friendship love, which is defined by the word philia, friendship. But the friendship love is wonderful and good, and we need that, but that's not the ultimate, because that love has a component of selfishness, because you love your friend because your friend loves you. So that's not the highest. He then talked about romantic love, saying that is defined by the word eros, and that's a beautiful kind of love. I'm trying to get back home right now. You just love the way she looks or the way she cooks. You may love, you don't know what you love. She just moves you. Ooh, that's a beautiful kind of love. But that's not the greatest love, he said. Talk about mother's love. Mother's love is so beautiful. But you know, a mother is going to love her child regardless, no matter how that child, in most cases. I mean, there are some psychological issues sometimes. I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean, this is real. That, you know, what do you call it? Postpartum stuff that men don't understand. Because we didn't do any work. Just a tiny bit of work. We didn't go through no labor pain. We didn't go through any of all the things that women, the woman is so beautiful, what she has to go through to carry that child for 9 months. So we truly can't empathize. We think we can. Oh, that's my child. You see my son over there? Like, you ain't done anything. You know, whatever it was probably quick. But, you know, we as men, we love to brag. That's a beautiful kind of love, but that's not the highest. Humanitarian love, you know, is so wonderful. That's the kind of love that we are engaged in right now for our brothers and sisters in Haiti and other places in the world. Thank God for humanitarian love, because we're going to help change that country, but that's not the highest either. He said ultimately the highest level of love is defined by the word agape. It is a love that seeks nothing in return. It is a love that is totally unselfish. You love someone if they're old, you love them if they're young. You love them if they're rich, you love them if they're poor. You love them if they're black, you love them if they're white. You love them if they're Latino or Hispanic American, you love them if they're Asian American. You love them if they're Native American, you love them if they're African. You love them no matter what station or who they are. You love them because you know that God calls you to do that. And that's the kind of love we got to have. That is certainly what Martin Luther King Jr. and his team talked about. Which reminds me of some other words of a dear friend of mine and our families, a great preacher out of Detroit, Michigan, Reverend Dr. Charles Adams of the Hartford Memorial Baptist Church. When he talked about addressing the issues of challenge, and he'd often say, life struggles are ongoing, but you need not make any excuses or cop any pleas. Don't go to the complaint window, go to the claim counter. Don't take care, take charge. If times get tough, you get tough. But you can rise as high as you can reach, so don't be intimidated by fear. Do not be blinded by prejudice. Do not be discouraged by the system, but face it. Challenge it, change it, and overcome it. Never give up on any good thing. If you have a hard way to go, walk it by faith. If you have a problem, work with it until you work it out. If you got a grudge against anybody, drop it. If you got hatred or resentment in your heart, shake it off. If you got a high mountain in front of you, climb it. If you got a long battle ahead of you, fight it. If you got a handicap, rise above it. If you got prejudice and evil inside of you, destroy it. If you got a challenge, face it. If you got a cross to bear, bear it. If they knock you down, get back up. If they push you against the ropes, come out swinging. If they hate you, I lost my place.